That said, Vicky, game one is here.
Let's go. I'm so excited. You know what? Your top 5 looks very similar to mine, actually. I got to give it to you. That Gaimin Gladiators is definitely going to stay in that top 3. I think they're going to remain consistent. Aurora, like I mentioned before, I absolutely love watching their team. In Stormpoint, we usually see the variations between the Bloodhound and Seer, and I'm excited to see if they're still going to stick to that here, because we usually see the Mad Maggie and Caustic more than anything between Stormpoint and World's Edge.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Maybe for those that are just starting to watch LGS or maybe watched last season, aren't familiar with Aurora, well, their former team Empire, they unfortunately were not able to make it to LGS champs due to visa issues, but they were the best team in Emea following the Split 2 playoffs in Sweden. They are so much fun to watch. They are not afraid to play completely off meta team compositions. We see them run Mad Maggie. We see them run Caustic in a time where Caustic isn't as widely used. We see them run Bangalore, Wraith even, the only team to run Wraith. I'm really, really excited to see what Aurora can do. They are actually the most consistent team right now in ALGS in Emea. They are the only team that's in Group C that's played one less match overall, but are still in 6th place overall.
Wow.
Every other team in the top 10, Vicky, is Group A or Group B.
That's why my eyes are now focusing on Gaimin Gladiators, Ascent. Are they going to also be able to match that consistency that Aurora's been able to?
Look at Mill,
actually,
Vicky.
Yo, wow, Mill already getting contested here too. You can see that with Fire Beavers also landing in Cenote Caves. Esports are going to be able to be in the south side, so they can go in for a third party potentially if that Mill contention lasts too long.
Yeah, and the Mill 50-50 for the first time, we're going to see Gaimin actually contend in Mill with VZN, a team that used to have G Dolphin on it, but obviously a team we know can perform incredibly well. They're very good shooters, very good kind of like arena fighters. They're good close range. So this could be really scary. I actually might, if I would have known this intel coming in, I would have maybe changed my prediction, because teams that drop 50-50 and get contended, well, there's a 50-50 chance that they're not going to make it into these first 3 games to the late game. So this could be a little bit scary for Game, and I'm excited to see how they decide to play it.
And with these 50-50s, you want to make sure that these fights end as quickly as possible. The longer you're here, you have to worry about the team that's going to be exiting out of downed Beast, is VZN. VJ is going to be able to back up. He's going to be able to re-heal. Wingman in his hand, though, and that's going to be extremely important because that's such a strong weapon to have in the early game.
Yeah, that's right. Some early poke from VZM is going to get Hardeki down to 75 effective HP, going to pop a Phoenix kit and get back to full, and his teammates need to keep an eye out for him. But the shield advantage currently in the hands of Gaimin. And for those that maybe aren't aware, if you drop in the middle pills in the mill, you're guaranteed at least 2 colorful shields, whether it's a blue and a purple or 2 blues. That's I think what happened with Gaimin, and that's why they're able to secure themselves some great shield here. So advantage right now for GG. We'll see if they take that advantage, even though it doesn't seem like it with the team above them.
Good acknowledgement from Gaimin to have that health advantage, and with their composition, they're working into what their game plan is perfectly, even if they're going to play for the long run. But we're already seeing some early fighting happening all around this map. Certified Esports already down one of their teammates, low on health in general. They're trying to actually fully extend. It looks like a trade here with another player knocked on the other side of the team.
Yeah, start a fight. Not afraid to start a fight on Twitter with the clips that they've been posting over Vexed. It's a 1v1 here, though. Bitfix is going to lose it, and Bambino is going to absolutely fly. Takes the 1v1 with confidence and ends up on top. And I call this the third-party building because there's so many teams that like the third party. We'll see if they get 3P, but VZN right now has the advantage. Leo Gree getting knocked. Hardeki goes down. Artico, last alive, has to go huge in 1v2.
Go hard or go home. That's how we start game number 1 here in the Emea region. DZN now backing up Zane, having to re-heal. Gaimin Gladiators only down to Article, though, but he's got the health advantage. He cannot let them heal up.
And here comes the first fight. He's going to get actually flanked both angles. And just like that, game number 1, VZN over Gaimin Gladiators. What a start for the boys. Nags joins this team alongside VJ, the controller player from Iraq. And just like that, they dominate game number 1.
Listen, Fallout, if I didn't have my morning coffee, that's going to have to be the shot of espresso that I need right now. VZN coming out on top on the milk here and ending in that fight. I don't believe any other team is already rotating in their direction despite all the noise, despite some of the time that's taken for that. So Bitfix out of this lobby first. Gaimin Gladiators going to join them shortly right afterwards. 18 squads left in this lobby.
Yeah, massive. 3 KP for both of them. Switching over to Ember, the team that Evan highlighted as his team to watch. And I love that pick. Ember, a squad that is our only rookie team within the top 12 right now, contending for a spot at the Split 1 playoffs. You love to see it. The team that is all Danish. 3 members from Denmark. Young Hong Kong and the boys have performed so well against these pro players as a rookie squad. Their first time being in the ALGS. Really excited to see what they can do playing against teams like Forge, formerly known as Forg Gang, who's been competing for a long time. Jay Savage joins this team. for the first time, and I think it's a big upgrade for them, but they find themselves in a cross-map skirmish here. It looks like neither team will take it. They're both going to be content holding their respective stairs. Yeah,
playing off the south side of Stormcatcher, and with their team composition, it's also nice to note here that the Catalyst is being utilized like we saw last week. Catalyst being very interesting tools and rather new here in the ALGS. So seeing some of these teams still utilize it, like Forge, who are on the cusp in being that top 9, could either be risky, but if they want to slow down their own gameplay so that way they want to focus down on more of their placement points, this is a very smart decision from them.
That's right. So, as we've shown, and kudos to our observers here catching the action, but 2 teams are already eliminated in an early game. One is Gaming Gladiators. The other is Bitfix Gaming, another rookie team that's kind of on the bubble right now. And, you know, as things slow down here a little bit.
Right now, looking to see what they can do here. Just setting up the perimeter right now here, too, with the Watson. We were talking about it before. With Aurora, they like to run the Cossack usually, and in a lobby full of Watsons, this is the reason why here. Watson obviously being used a lot. You see a lot of cryptos also in the lobby. The EMP not only negating the Watson fences, but also being able to negate that Cossack barrel. So important with the way that Forge Gaming is going to be able to play way more passive. Remember now, we just wait for Fallout to get right back in. Are going to be able to play patiently on the other side of Forge. And this is the risk, though, when you do play passively, you're denying yourself the opportunity to not only get the loot, but this trade that you're going to see between Forge and the other team across from them are going to be able to boost up their Evo shields with what they have to work with, but they won't have the health advantage that other teams that are playing a lot more aggressive will be able to have. Certified Esports now playing off the other side. Bambino playing off the low ground. Another team playing passively with the Watson. And this is what you're going to expect here from Emea. With a lot more Watsons being in this lobby, they are going to want to try to take control over these buildings more than anything. Pioneers now moving in with Max Strafey, who is going to still be able to play with the rest of the Pioneers. We're thinking maybe the Pioneers were going to be playing with the sub. That's not going to be the case. Ultimate accelerant here. Gonna be playing off the rooftops here too, off to the side. You can see that they also have the information of where this next beacon is gonna be pulling. That's why so many teams have already made their rotation over to the south side of Stormcatcher. This area is gonna get highly contested soon. A lot of crypto drones also flying around. It's gonna be that beacon that's off to the left side, close to No Name, between the right side of Cascade Falls that is still available. A lot of these teams that are running the crypto don't have to overextend to get that beacon information.
That's right. So we're taking a look at this new and improved, perhaps improved, it's a big question mark, Scars roster with Jurovic and Iarka on this team. Jurovic is honestly a great story. I mean, he's someone that competed in Apex and ALGS years ago, stopped competing and was really a leader and big figure in the German community, was hosting all the German ALGS streams, got picked up as a substitute for the former Kick Esports squad at ALGS Champs, performed well, and since then, well, he's back and competing and on one of the biggest teams in Emea, playing alongside Tai Sheen, CEO of Germany, as well as Iarka coming from Western Europe. On board now with Phoenix Legacy, a must-perform team that we highlighted in the pre-show. But yeah, very, very impressive stuff from Jurovic and his overall story.
Yeah, Phoenix Legacy having G-Dolphin on the team, rocking the Rampart. You already know, Fall, I could talk about Apex all day long, especially with our ALGS teams coming in here too. But Phoenix Legacy being one of those squads that need to perform today. It's literally dire here. So they're playing patiently, but they're also running the Bloodhound, something else that we noted that Aurora was rocking here too, which is interesting to see, seeing that we are going to be having Catalyst in the lobby and what that could fare against the Seers that we've been seeing dominating the meta so far.
Yeah, and you take a look at the map here. VZN right behind them from Cascade Falls. So we might see and likely will see an exchange between VZN and Phoenix Legacy right near the third party building I was referencing earlier. So expect that fight to potentially ensue and a third party to follow. As we switch on over to the three Muppets. They lose one. Coombra, though, trying to keep his team alive. He gets the knock on Jazz, actually gets the full elim on Jazz. So just like that, the new member of Reply Totem, replacing Jay Savage, big shoes to fill, is out. It's a 2v2 between three Muppets, and I believe a 2v2, and Totem.
Yeah, Reply Totem actually just trying to prioritize their location inside of that next circle here, because you already know that there's already squads that have the high ground right over them here. Now, with that res, though, from Reply Totem, they got the positioning right before them, and they get the res, denying that beacon from the three Muppets. So the three Muppets having to play this off of the duo. Reply Totem trying to reset immediately with another squad trying to take shots at them.
That's right. Looks like Jazz is rezzed and back. I'd actually love to hear the comms of Reply Totem as they're playing this edge of the next zone. And as we're on board right now with Jazz, gonna have to loop back up to full. Should be able to. Actually gonna be able to get all of his original loot. Surprisingly, 3 Muppets no longer there. They probably going for a res of their own. And just like that, Jazz back in full force with purple shields, Amaz, and Sharp as well. So the Italian esports organization of Reply Totem is back in full force with an opportunity to potentially close out this game, but not in the best positioning overall, Vicky. They are on edge right now, and obviously you're gonna have to hit a rotate as this zone starts to collapse. We don't know where the next zone is going to be necessarily, but I have a feeling it's gonna continue to pull south.
Yeah, I definitely agree here too, because although they do have the high ground, we can expect a lot of teams that have taken up a lot of this POI right now are going to start rotating and trying to take control over where this next circle is going to be moving. You see Reply Totem taking a lot of shots still at that squad that is right on the cusp of that command center area.
I spotted an enemy.
Yeah, likely 3 Muppets nearby. Meanwhile, another team takes a Valk rotate. That may be VZN. Not sure which squad that is necessarily. I think it is VZN who's going to rotate with the Valk ult. So they ended up avoiding the fight against Phoenix Legacy. Phoenix Legacy was able to rotate in, and we still have 18 squads remaining. So again, the calm before the storm right now as teams are just playing position, trying to get the best possible shot for this late game. But expect these edge fighting teams to collapse on one another here in just a moment. A lot of geography and land available for this late rotation. So teams have already kind of rotated, they found their buildings, and they're setting up.
What's really interesting is I believe 3 Muppets were forced to actually back up into the circle to try to get their third in. I did hear another respawn go out. So 3 Muppets having to play at a huge disadvantage, not only in terms of loot, but in terms of positioning as well. Taking circle damage, Reply Totem are still going to stick to the high ground, and that team that just used the Skyward Dive are going to be on the other side, like we noted already before. So a lot of the squads are mostly in this area, with a few other squads still trying to straggle and try to get right back from the southern side of this next circle.
That's right. Reply Totem will be just posting up right now. We'll see where the zone ends up pulling to and if they have to rotate. Meanwhile, the Turkish Stars were eliminated in your feed. Aurora got themselves a kill point as well as Fire Beavers on that fight. So the 2 CIS teams join in taking out the all-Turkish squad. Meanwhile, Reply Totem's keeping a close eye on VZN here. Let's actually go ahead and jump into a listen in here with Reply Totem as they try to focus and decide where they're going to rotate, how they're going to play this.
Here, in the open, horizon, knock.
Nice. Careful,
Right,
KCP.
yeah,
I'm still looking.
Okay.
They're here. Look at my red ping. There are 3 men here, and there is my knock as well. They're trying to rest. Cracked horizon. Valk is low. Valk is 1 HP. Can you take space? Just go here. You... 3 men here. There are 3 men here. In the dog shit.
He's pushing.
Yeah. Look at Sierra. Sierra is running to you.
Watching this. I'm going under.
You should be good.
You're fine.
Careful about KCP. I'm looking at you. Amaz, go back and look at KCP, please. We're not looking at them. Can you survive?
I'm being sad, I guess, man.
You good? Okay. We need to wipe this thing somehow.
Yeah, we need to kill KCP
I
as well.
have no max scout though, it's so bad.
They're kind of sending.
KCP is getting pushed by... Guys, listen to me. KCP is getting pushed by game wall.
Okay. I knocked the Sierra again on this team.
Yeah.
I see somebody.
The team on the left is
What team
getting
did you knock?
fucked.
You knocked left side?
Left side. I knocked the left side again.
KCP is fighting. KCP is fighting.
Okay,
KCP is fighting.
that's fine.
Cracked horizon on this team. Valk is crossing on this team.
It's a hound team, it's game
Yeah,
warden.
it's game mode. Yeah.
It's red armor on the hounds.
I knocked horizon on this team. Can this team on the left do
This team on the left
something?
just
I see an enemy.
Stealing.
Valk is cracked. I know,
I mean,
but I
we need
have
to hold
to
close
knock
to
Sierra.
1 HP back.
I have 2 knocks on this.
One knock.
No, I think we all stay this side. The other team's in on that side, on your side.
These fucking
Sure.
guys.
There's a Minotti. Enemy in sight.
They walked over here, by the way. Game was dead. They might try and Valko. Red armor on the Watson. They're gonna run in.
We need to, guys. We need to take these 3 kills, guys.
Yeah, but sure.
Yeah, I mean,
This
we
team
have
is
kills on
running
this
as
side,
well.
and they have less
Okay,
space.
okay.
It's less space on this side.
Okay. Then I must come back and look at this.
They're gonna try Valko. I'm gonna try cancel. I'm gonna try
So
cancel.
they're going...
What a listen-in presented by WD Black, our first listen-in of the series. You heard a lot of things right there. One in particular was the passion and the vulgarity of Sharp, the Italian IGL of this team, Vicky. Great comms overall, though, as you hear them and how they're kind of playing this rotate in this late circle.
You get 2 knocks. You want to be able to get that KP because it means everything aside from the placement points that you want to secure in terms of positioning is Phoenix Legacy. We tune in. G-Dolphin can't pop the syringe in time, can't pop a med kit. They're taking too much damage. They didn't have enough to actually deal with the circle damage, and they just called it quits right there because Aurora were circle keeping them. Phoenix Legacy are now out of this lobby in 12.
That's right. Aurora still alive. 3 KP to their name. Or at least a few KP, 2 kills overall for them and 1 for points as they're in the top 11 remaining. Look at this team comp. Catalyst on display for Aurora. Welcome to competitive Apex here in Emea. We saw a couple North American teams do it last week. Not many teams in Emea, but the changeup for Aurora comes through. Maliwan on Catalyst, Mad Maggie, and Wraith. Talk about a completely off-meta team comp, and this is why you love to watch Aurora.
They don't have a character that can scan beacons. This is impressive from Aurora to be able to call this out as well. Going to be able to place themselves right here in the southern side. They may not have the high ground, but they're playing for their positioning to deny this opportunity for other teams to start rotating this direction. They also have some natural line of sight to get out of the line of sight rather, of some of these other teams with the walls right to their right.
Yeah, some would say they're mad, others would say they're mad scientists. I don't know. Regardless of where you fall, Team Aurora completely shaking things up. I can't even imagine not having the intel of beacon scans. But Aurora just likes to play edge. They're one of the few remaining hard edge fighting teams. Not many exist anymore, given so many teams get that beacon info and like to rotate early. But Aurora, no, they're okay. Just not having that intel. They don't need to know where to rotate because they're just going to push you and fight you on edge. Meanwhile, KCP, a team that has basically defined back in the day, Nasky, Strafey, and Dell, early rotate team, the exact opposite of focusing on placement, focusing on early rotate. They find themselves quite literally hiding behind a rock right now and hard plays with the rotation in front of them.
It's tough because they have a team right to their back that's also pinging them. You can see the Watson ult immediately deleted. Yeah, you're setting up some perimeter here with the Watson fences. You have the rocks to also at least try to protect the base of these fences, but you're in a tough spot. You have a squad that has a high ground on you, and you have another squad that could easily sandwich you to your south. I do believe that maybe Heroes and Ascend that they're sandwiched in between.
Yeah, they looks like this about a they're camping right now in the woods and huddling together for warmth against the rock right now is Kansas City Pioneers. We'll see if they can survive with 2 teams. One of them is Heroes, a team that we called out in the pre-show, is a team that has to perform today. I mean, this is a squad we're used to seeing perform. ASCII, Uchako, who have both been in the ALGS for years. They're playing with a rookie in Wraith, the rookie from France, and they're currently in last place in Emea. Need a big performance as Forge, Nightmare, VZN all going to be eliminated at the top right of your screen. Ember as well.
Ember out, 7 squads left as Heroes going to be able to rotate. 3 other squads that they have to worry about. Aurora's already taking control over that side, and they wipe out Reply Totem. Reply Totem are now out for the count. The Newcastle from Heroes as they set up shop. You talk about hanging out and huddling together. We'll gather around the campfire because the rest of the Heroes are going to have to share this real estate with Aurora, and Aurora don't want to give up their own space over to the side, so they're not going to overcommit just yet unless they have an opportunity. If they do this, though, they're going to miss out on being able to pressure out the likes of KCP, Ascend. You can see Nogs offered to the side by VZN as they're trying to make their way back.
Yeah, and speaking of making their way back, Ranch is running and making his way back with a Wraith Q, able to get back to health and able to get a lot of intel from that push here. Here comes the Mad Maggie impact. This is a brutal late game circle, Vicky. It is no man's land, and here comes the push. Ranch is wide right, gets the damage done, and you got the information from Mad Maggie that the damage initially to get rid of this hero squad was there. Ranches goes down though. It's up to Maliwan. He's gonna drop himself an ultimate and immediately pushes through. I think it's a 1-1 for the bread, and it's gonna be Maliwan who does it on Catalyst and now just needs to survive if he can. He's gonna get shut down though. The KCP boys are gonna come through and take them out.
KCP so smart with this too because they had the thermite out there. They were able to also pressure out that squad that was over to the side here. Aurora got third party, and that's what they were worried about the entire time. And now they just gave the best spot to KCP to play off of right there. You can see the Zero going down so that way they can make sure no other squad is going to try to contest them for this loot that they desperately needed.
That's right, 4 squads remain. It's VZN, Foot, Ascend, and the Kansas City Pioneers. I don't believe Maliwan was able to survive on Aurora, so I don't think he's ratting. We'll get that intel here in a second. As a Valcolt's going to take to the skies here for Foot. Well, where do you go? There's not many places to drop. There's not much cover here. Again, this is a brutal late game circle. It all comes down to this. 5 squads remain. Maliwan's still alive as Catalyst.
Yeah. Yep, Aurora's still alive. BZN, no one's gonna find him. And Aurora gets taken out. Ascend now moving in. You see Foot also making the rotation in. Pioneers are not gonna face off against BZN while Foot and Ascend are fighting up in the high ground.
Oh, Dell down to 20 HP. He's going to be knocked all up to Nasky and Strafey. They're going to get one knock. Here comes the 1v1 for the bread here for placement and the KP. Strafey is lights out. They get 5 more points from that alone. But it all comes down to this. Ascend in a 3v3 fight here against a squad that's going to be damaged but has a ton to work with. Taylor and the boys need to somehow clutch this up.
But Esports now having to play off of the low ground right here on center, making their way closer together. They're playing off of the middle of the Yeet Cannon, but Ascend get the first knock here. They have the advantage. Foot gets taken out, and Ascend are your first winners. It looks like they're going to continue their domination and ready to start things off strong here, John.
Picking up right where they left off with their week 1 performance against this Group A versus Group C matchup. Ascend won 3 straight games. This is their first of perhaps many, Vicky. What